Hey guys, it's Archie Luxury and welcome to the Archie Luxury channel. Today, guys, I want to talk about luxury car financing. That's right, luxury car financing. And I've got to be totally honest with you. Um, Luxury car financing is a very important thing. If it didn't exist, broke people who can't afford luxury cars wouldn't be able to get the luxury car of their choice. I'm going to show you my luxury car, and this is my BMW 330i. It's a 2021. Guys, I want to share my story of luxury car financing. And firstly, I got to say, I got my financing through BMW Financial Services. And, in all honesty, there's nothing wrong with BMW Financial Services. This is pure mathematics. It's mathematics. You've basically got a principal, a number of payments. You have an interest rate. You have a balloon, and it's pure maths. But I'd like to share the story with the punters there to see how you could get a little bit trapped. In my case, I financed a vehicle in 2022. I got a demonstrator. It was a couple months old. It was October. It was registered October 21. So we've got October, November, December, January, February. It was 4 months old. It had about 4,000 kilometers on it. And it had a nice discount for being a demonstrator. The car itself there, I put down $11,660. $11,660. I financed, how much did I finance? Just under 70 grand, $69,340. And I took it over a 5-year term to make the payments lower. It allowed me to have 15,000 kilometers a year. I've got the car in the garage. I'm trying to kill the Ks. I've done a bit too many Ks, so I'm just letting it just sparingly use it. And at the end of the 60 months, the 5 years, I will have a choice. I can either, this is the choices. I can now the thing is, the choices is only if I have met the kilometer allowance and the car is in fair and working order, where normal wear and tear considered, but the car needs to be in good condition, i.e., you can't have scrapes, dents, bangs, and damage to it. It's got to be in a drivable. It's got to be in a nice condition, which is fair enough. At the end of the 5-year term there, I've got a choice. I've got 3 choices. I can either return the car. Now, if the car is over the allowance, there is a certain financial penalty, which I would have to pay. If it's within the kilometers, I've got the option of returning the car. Now, if the car is worth more than the guaranteed value, they will give me some money back. If it's worth less than the agreed value, I can walk away. The second option is I can purchase the car for the balloon. I can purchase the car for $24,534.01. 5-year-old BMW with 85,000 Ks on it. It's not terrible. And the third option is I can roll it over into a new or demonstrator BMW. If there's any profit there, there will be a deposit. If there's a loss, well, we've got an agreed value and I don't have to cover any negative equity. So the car itself, beautiful car, beautiful car. It's a beautiful car. The retail price on this car here, the retail price here was 81,000 as a demonstrator. I could have if I gave them a check for 81,000, transferred the money, I could have had the car fully paid off, Dave Ramsey style. However, broke people, the car industry depends on financing. Instead of paying 81,000, I put down an $11,660 deposit, and I then entered into a PCP, a loan contract and goods mortgage shekel. Basically, I agreed to certain terms, basically 60 payments, 60 months of $1,029. Okie dokie. So the interest rate on my term here, 6.99. Not a terrible rate, not a great rate, not terrible, not great. It's an okay interest rate. So then I've enjoyed this beautiful car, this fine automobile. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely vehicle. Beautiful to enjoy and just take your time with the vehicle. It's been a lot of fun. I got to be honest with you. I have really enjoyed the car. And at the time of purchasing the vehicle, there was a great small business tax incentive where you could, if you bought a vehicle, you could claim the depreciation. You could claim the entire depreciation in 1 year. This sounds too good to be true. And unfortunately, it had a little bit of a stingy wingy in it there. Had a little bit of a sting, a bite. And the bite was basically, yes, that's true. You have a the sting itself there is the fact that, well, the only problem is if you sell the car before the depreciation you've claimed, in my case, 5 years depreciation, you've got to pay the money back. They've given you the depreciation. Well, you'd have to give that back. So it's a bit of a double whammy. So how do I stand now? Well, I am over halfway in. I'm 32 months into the term. That's right. 32 months into the term. And this is a 5-year contract. So I've got 28 months remaining. 28 months remaining. That's okay. Now, 28 months remaining. 28 months remaining. So now what do I need to do here? 28 months remaining. Well, I've had business slightly change. There's been a few little changes there. The YouTube business I'm in, well, it's kind of not the same as when I bought the car. When I bought the car, things were positive and great. I've had a few personal setbacks, and it's kind of a little bit annoying. So what do I do? So I've had a few personal setbacks. I'm over halfway into the term. So what are my options? Well, I've got a few problems. Okay, a few problems are if I sell this vehicle, if I sell the vehicle, I have to give the finance company a payout. Now, the payout would be at the moment would be $47,500, which includes an early termination fee of $973. Fair enough. I signed the contract. I signed the contract. That is how it goes. The problem is, I well, what the problem is that I also have, if I whatever I sell the car for, I've got to pay some of the depreciation back. The depreciation I got the tax deduction for. Well, if I sell it before the 5-year term, you got to pay it back, big boy. You can't have it both ways. You can't claim the deduction if you don't keep it for the term that you've claimed. Fair enough. That's correct. The other problem is that even though I didn't roll in negative equity, even though I put a hefty deposit in this particular vehicle here, I put $11,660 into the car. The car market has gone fuck this, fuck tie. So even though I've put a substantial deposit in, well, I'd the finance here, $47,472. Well, I'd probably get low 40s. So I would have to cover that difference. BMW Finance would want a check for the difference, which is, hey, that's the contract you entered into. So I've got to be totally honest with you. Has this car been a disaster? Is it a bad thing? No, it's not. But I really do like the car. If I would have bought a Toyota Camry, and with the payments that I've made, well, I can tell you this now. If I had bought a Toyota Camry, 1,090, my payments are 1,029.91, and I have made quite a few of them, 32, plus the $11,660 deposit. I've paid nearly $45,000. $45,000. If I would have bought a Camry instead of a BMW, I dare say I'd have the baby paid off. It would be mine, but it wouldn't have the snob value. I wouldn't have the ultimate driving machine experience. I possibly would not have had some great memories, but I would own the car. So I got to tell you, in all honesty, is this thing worth it? Is it worth the bucks? Is it really? What is the view on this thing here? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What sort of vehicle? What sort of thing is it? And in all honesty, I've got to tell you, it's been a really good thing. It's been a lovely car, but it is expensive. There's no question of that. This is not a cheap vehicle. It's never been a cheap vehicle. It has been pretty damn expensive, and it's a expensive toy with an expensive price tag. Not only is the let's be honest here, not only are the repayments quite high, but the reality is here, this car itself uses some expensive consumables. For example, those beautiful tires there. You see those beautiful 19-inch low-profile tires? Well, they're about $500 each. $500 each. Ouch. Pirelli P Zeros. you see those beautiful red brakes. The red brakes. I love the brakes. The brakes are very cool. The brakes, discs and pads. Discs and pads would be about $1,650 for the rear and $1,650 for the front. If I just need the rear pads or just the front pads, that'd be $980 per rear or front. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yes, it is. It's an expensive motor car. This is not a cheapie any stretch of the imagination. And it is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. There's no question of that. It is gorgeous. It's a very gorgeous vehicle. But some of the repairs are a little bit on the expensive side. A battery. Hey, the battery in this car here is about $985. It uses a special battery, which lets you have the instruments running and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not cheapy. It's not cheapy. It's expensive. So, is it worth it? Is it a disaster? Is it terrible? Well, I don't think anything is terrible at all. I entered into the agreement and it was a fair deal at the time. However, if your circumstances change and you are a little bit stuck, your business dies, well, it's difficult to get out. But hey, fair is not a word for adults. Fair is not a word for adults. This is what the cost of luxury motoring is. It's a beautiful vehicle. It is beautiful. Of course, it's a beautiful vehicle. And these are what they cost. It's no different. Luxury goods they're not always the cheapest things in life. They can be expensive. And just like a beautiful Patek Philippe watch, a luxury automobile can be expensive. So, luxury car financing, what do I think? Well, it's just maths. It's pure maths. You finance an expensive thing, it's going to be expensive. You finance a cheapie, a white vanilla Hyundai i20 or a Toyota Corolla, it's going to be a lot cheaper, but it's not going to have the bang per buck. It's not going to have the, funnily enough, in certain countries, these cars are not really considered luxury. In America, in Germany, these are, well, I suppose they're still cool cars. But in countries like Singapore, this is $300,000 because of the high taxes on vehicles. So, as far as the cars go, what do I think? Well, you know what you're getting into. These are expensive. You can see how this sort of car here can keep the middle class poor. It can keep you fairly poor. If you constantly turn these things over, they can be very expensive. And that's part of the cost of ownership. If you want a car that is a beautiful thing, well, you got to pay the price. Is it a waste of money? Not necessarily. It gives you a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure. It's a fun thing to test drive and see the world in. It's something that if you want to minimize the cost on it, well, you're best to keep it over a longer term. In my case here, I might keep this baby for 10 years. Hopefully I paid the balloon off by then. They're not cheap. luxury cars are not cheap. The balloon, what's the idea of the balloon? Well, the whole idea of the balloon is that it makes the payments substantially lower, although it does increase the interest charge because basically you're financing it. Nothing is free in this world. So, is it a good way? Is it a bad way? Well, I didn't want to put $81,000 into the car. I wanted to just sign a form and drive away with it, which is okay. As a cost basis, this vehicle here, insurance, running costs, fuel. What does this thing cost? It's not cheap. It's not a cheap vehicle, but hey, it is a lot of fun. And life is for living. This is not a dress rehearsal. We can pick the cheapest options in life. We could buy a Hyundai or a Toyota Corolla and run with it, baby. We could certainly do that. But you've just got to be careful if your circumstances change. These are a financial instrument. If you are on good money, these things aren't a problem. If you have your circumstances change, well, you can be a little bit fucked from the Latin to be completely fucked. Do I regret financing my car? Well, I don't like to concentrate on regrets in life. I've had a lot of fun with the vehicle. In my own case there, the business has turned a little bit. I probably would say, hey, that's enough luxury car. I will probably keep this one a bit longer, enjoy it, sparingly enjoy it. I don't want to put a lot of the consumables are expensive, tires, batteries, things like that. So I'd probably want to limit the kilometers I do on it. But has it been a regret? Do I regret buying it? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a beautiful thing. I mean, it depends if you can look at the dividend of smiles and joy the car can bring you. And it's certainly a fun thing. But always be careful if your circumstances change. And no point crying foul. The finance company didn't do anything wrong. No, they're a business. They lent you the money. Pony up and pay that note, big boy. Pony up and pay that note. So, what do I think? Was it a mistake? No, it's not. But just be aware of what you're getting yourself in for. Because these things are not cheap. They're not cheap. And you know what? They're not cheap. Drive it nicely. Enjoy yourself. You only live once. But they're expensive. So there you go, guys. That's my story on my luxury car. Tell me what you think. I'd really like to hear what you think. Is it been a mistake? Well, it's just mathematics. Interest rate, principal, term of the loan, and a balloon at the end. When some prick pops the balloon, it's a bit of a shitstorm if you haven't factored that in. But hey, it's made the payments lower. That's been good. It's been a very nice vehicle. Guys, that's my luxury car financing story. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And remember, I do daily live streams, daily live streams, morning and night on my ArchieLuxury live stream channel. I'll put a link into one of the corners. Go and check it out. Have a look. And please let me know your thoughts. Luxury car financing. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you guys think of that. Great one, Vid. Nice.